The purpose of life is to pursue joyfulness, freedom, and happiness. No matter it is the social system and religious doctrine, no matter it is to run business or to hold mass organizations, both should depend on this purpose. Everything depending on this purpose corresponds to the Tao of greatest creator, the humanity, and the meaning of civilization. Otherwise, it will be disordered and imperfect, and is deviated from the meaning of civilization. Chanyuan Celestial is the most cultivated and most civilized people in human society, whose action is in strict accordance with the instructions of Christ Jesus, Buddha Sakyamuni, Celestial being Lao Tzu, and the sages in the history. The goal of our living is to get into heaven, the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, the Elysium world, or the Celestial Islands continent. The purpose of our life is to enjoy joyfulness, freedom, and happiness. That is to say, we should not only make ourselves live a life of joyfulness, freedom, and happiness, but also make others gain a life of joyfulness, freedom, and happiness. It is Chanyuan Celestial's basic accomplishment to bring joyfulness, freedom, and happiness to their parents, brothers and sisters, partner, children, neighbors, friends, workmates, and other people whom we are destined to meet. The one who brings others worry, trouble, suffering, constraint, crises, danger, quarrel, and fight is not a Chanyuan Celestial. Especially in the family of Life of Chanyuan, Chanyuan Celestial has to bring joyfulness, freedom, and happiness to each other. If they bring suffering to others, they would betray the values of Life of Chanyuan and the greatest creator's Tao. You have to suffer your share of pain and pay off your own debt by your efforts. You should build your own road and walk your own way. Chanyuan Celestial just pursues reality, goodness, beauty, love, and honesty, desires to see the bright and brilliant aspects, desires for joyfulness, freedom, and happiness. Nobody can pour his worry, complaint, detestation, discontent, and negative mood into Life of Chanyuan family, even pollute the purified spiritual and mental spaces of other Chanyuan Celestials. God helps those who help themselves. Life of Chanyuan follows the principles of the nature. Every Chanyuan Celestial must be an independent, unhesitating, and promising stronger instead of a complaining, indolent, and helpless weaker. If you endeavor bravely, I will give you a helping hand. If you indulge yourself, then there is nothing I can do. Before crossing the opposite shore, every Chanyuan Celestial is looking for his own survival. Everyone needs to be supported with increasing energy and the comfort of spirit and heart. It is forbidden to steal, grab, and expend the energy of other Chanyuan Celestials. Chanyuan Celestial is a company to travel life together instead of an organization which is bounded together for responsibilities, obligations, and liabilities. So every Chanyuan Celestial should be responsible for his words and actions, and for himself as well. You are the master of yourself, so whatever you say and do depends on your own will, not on the enforcements of others. Whenever you say foolish words and do foolish things, you should shoulder the responsibilities, and you can't complain other Chanyuan Celestials. Every Chanyuan Celestial must be clear that Life of Chanyuan is not an organization with any nature. Life of Chanyuan is a spiritual and mental homeland and will never be an organization of politics or religion. It will not impose responsibilities and obligations to anybody, neither will it be responsible for anybody. What Life of Chanyuan publicizes and advocates is a kind of value on human life and life. It won't monopolize or replace the actions and living of anybody. Please remember you take action by yourself, and it has nothing to do with other Chanyuan Celestials or Life of Chanyuan. If you think you are cheated, I will say you are not being responsible for yourself. You can't blame others. Furthermore, I want to emphasize 3 points of view. Firstly, the identity of Xue Feng is a tour guide of human life and life rather than a boss and a leader of somebody, even not a master. Whether the tourists follow the tourist map or not depends on their own will. The tour guide has no right and qualification to compel them. Secondly, our deeds must accord with words in Life of Chanyuan. We never do things which are not written in Chanyuan Corpus, Xue Feng Corpus, and other articles of tour guide. We never do something stealthily. What we are doing is fair and upright and should withstand the test of fact, science, and logic, and the monitoring by the human beings. Xue Feng did not arrange any activities rather than the publicized in Life of Chanyuan and network. There are not any activities in Life Genuine except for publicizing Chanyuan values and constructing home without marriage and family on network and Life Genuine's website. If there are more than that, it must have nothing to do with Life Genuine. In a word, everyone must face the greatest creator directly, should be responsible for himself. You don't have to be responsible for other Chanyuan celestials, for Life Genuine and for Shuefeng. It is the grace of the greatest creator and our fortune to get into the spiritual and physical homeland to travel human life with people who think and work and echo with you. Every Chanyuan celestial should value this opportunity and feel grateful. One should bring joyfulness, freedom, and happiness to other brothers, sisters, relatives, and lover as possible as they can, shouldn't desire to control or dominate others. In this family, we can talk our understanding on human life and life, talk our cognition to the universe, and talk the suggestions on constructing Chanyuan family and developing Life Genuine era. We can encourage and praise other Chanyuan celestial. Chanyuan celestial can communicate with each other, but they can't direct and educate brothers, sisters, relatives, and lover in Life Genuine except for Saint Yang Heaven Earth Buddha, Mortal World Heavenly King Foshan Buddha, and Sage Taiji Buddha. We shouldn't impose our will on others in the name of maintaining Life Genuine and Shuefeng's fame. As long as we bring joyfulness, freedom, and happiness to others, we are doing merits and virtues, and creating the Life Genuine era for humankind. 开创一个理性、祥和、人性的时代. Create a rational, peaceful, humanistic era. Dayform Buddha. August 29, 2004. From 2988 BC to 2012 AD is a cycle of life in universe. At the end of the circle, the supreme level life space, mortal world, and low-level life space need to be adjusted because of the equilibrium of their life amounts are in critical point. Take mortal world as an example. Because the amounts of animals decline sharply and are disproportionate with the amounts of human beings, lots of people have to return to the animal world. In the same way, during hundreds of years, the celestials coming from the superworlds to fulfill their mission have to return to superworlds. Non-material structure possessing the standards of Inferno, frozen layer, and inflamed layer must be thrown into the hell, and the one who have achieved the perfect human nature's standard have to get into the 1,000-year world, have achieved Tao have to get into the 10,000-year world, and those who have achieved Buddha have to get into Elysium world. For those who are reaching the perfect human natures, yet still unperfect, will be left in human world to reproduce and develop. From the time Life Genuine appears on the planet and in the man's world, the heaven world will successively dispatch some celestials, angels, to the world to help those remaining in mortal world to experience a hard time. The celestials will not show up in the form of extraterrestrial or other visible forms, but will attach to human beings' body to perform its program of balancing the life in universe in the form of the psychic energy. I don't know whose body the celestials, angels, psychic energy will attach to, but I am sure the one attached is the blessed one, which is coincidence with Shuefeng's poem, Butterfly flock around when flowers are blossoming. Good wishes and wisdom bubbles when your heart is peace being. No disease bothers you when your heart and body are clean. Celestial will you be when you only think of a mortal thing. The talented and wisdom men in Life Genuine should be prepared psychologically. Listen attentively to the guidance of your souls. Be ready to be unified with celestials from super worlds at all times. If we know the honored guests are coming, we should make a thorough cleaning in and out, light incense, eliminate dirty air, and wait for their arrivals. Guidance from psychic energy should never be suppressed by the rational values. We should realize that the values we keep may be functionless and totally wrong. We should try our best to be in the unconsciousness state. We'd better make a thorough formatting to our knowledge, experiences, values, and mode of thinking, reinstall the psychic energy from the source of life, remold ourselves thoroughly, and be a useful member in the new era after 2013. Along with the constant understanding on the mystery of the universe and the true meaning of the life in Life Genuine, someday, you will experience an indescribable passion and impulse, sense the mystery calling from the celestial beings. Realize that you are not an ugly duckling but a white swan, just like awakened suddenly from a dream. Once this sign occurs, it proves that your heart is connecting with the psychic energy from the resource of life, and celestials are attached to your body. You can do whatever according to the guidance of the psychic energy. One thing needs to be cautious is, no matter in the past time, Nowadays and future, there are lots of people who are attached by devils, will confuse all living creatures and content against life genuine. But these devils led by Satan are not heterodox doctrines, they are also performing and maintaining the balancing program of the life in the universe. If Satan and his fellows don't create obstacles and troubles in mortal world and don't strive to lead parts of people into the lower bound, and nobody wants to reincarnate to animal but wants to go to the super worlds or stay in mortal world, the universe will collapse. Just like a person split into two halves, if one half is dead, the other part is unable to exist. To the life in universe, both Jesus and Satan are important. It is a unity of opposites. Mankind's view of Satan as their enemy and a devil of swallowing life are an extreme misunderstanding and injustice. In fact, Satan is truthfully fulfilling his duty. Satan and his fellows have to try every way they know to prevent all human beings going to super worlds, for example, money, beauties, power, status, pleasure, fame, exceptional function and religion conflict, and so on. It is like the policemen who hold the door of the conference hall and prevent the swarming crowd. Why does Dayform Buddha only call for 2% people? 2% of human population is 130 million. And these people will be left in the planet to create a rational, peaceful, and humanistic era. Maybe Dayform Buddha will be scolded as heterodox doctrines and ignoring other 98% people. In fact, Buddha coming from the greatest creator doesn't ignore other people, but other people refuse to be taken care of. Except Xue Feng's inner strength, everything in life genuine is presented clearly. Who will believe in Xue Feng's values except for a few sages with spiritual nature? Will communist, Christian, Buddhist, democratic personages, or members of Falun Gong practitioners believe this? No, they won't. Of course, better not. If the number is over 2%, life genuine will be out of order. Jesus has declared that everything should use parables, which is hard to understand to those who are going to be thrown into hell. However, if they can understand, they will not go to the hell. And if the hell is empty, the balanced heaven can't exist. Celestial being Lao Tzu sighed, "My words are very easy to know and very easy to practice, but there is no one in the world who is able to know and able to practice them. They who know me are few, and I am on that account the one to be prized." So, from now on, we should apply for the visa to the kingdom of the new life circle. It is very easy to apply for this visa. Reverence to the greatest creator, reverence to life and reverence to nature, and following to the greatest creator's Tao. There are few people traveling on the path of life, just like the revelation shown to sage-like type in the dream. A couple of people climbing up the Xiefeng mountain with great effort, and there isn't a busy scene to be found. If we look around and follow the steps of the common people, someday we will find that we are at the door of the hell. After the adjustment of the life in universe, human society will be a rational, peaceful, and humanistic era. It also will be an era needless of the great men and heroes, an era with harmonious nature and ample food and clothing, and an era without fighting and grabbing and mental disease. The greatest creator has given us free will. Whether to go to the heaven or to go to the hell, that totally depends on your own choice. Satan and his evil spirits can only satisfy our desire on the material and flesh. They can't control us wholly. In the end, you have to take your own path. Since we have free will and the rights to choose our path, we should open up new ways forward to the rational, peaceful, and humanistic era. 懒惰是第二家园大敌. Laziness is a big enemy of home without marriage and family. Xiefeng, August 31st, 2008. I roughly browsed the reasons of the final failure of some ideal communities in history. The result is that all of them are killed by laziness. Everyone is busy in seeking enjoyment, reaping the fruit of others' labor, or drifting along. As time passes, the building of the ideal homeland collapse. In order to make home without marriage and family established by us to flourish, grow, and enter into the ideal state, we have to learn from the lessons of history. So the number one enemy of homeland is not others but laziness. It is the long-term strategic target for home without marriage and family to conduct the life and death struggle with laziness. Every member of home must possess the elementary qualities such as rising up on hearing the crow of a rooster and practicing with the labor tools, getting up at the crack of dawn and cleaning the courtyard, making a firm resolution to make good, constantly striving to become stronger and working hard every day. Diligence can achieve the good future, and laziness can even ruin the blessing of God. Laziness can destroy everything. It can make one sink into vice, can corrode one's will, spirit, mind, and physical body. It can ruin a whole diligent community, influence the healthful spirit of a community just like virus. At last, it makes everything stay in the doldrums, dead as a doornail, depressed, and finally decay to extermination. Laziness is a kind of virus, is the biggest devil for a man. Once laziness becomes his second nature, he will gradually become a walking corpse and running flesh to harm himself, others, and homeland. Someone summarizes, the lazy man is bound to be an ordinary man. An ordinary man is bound to be a complaining man. A complaining man is bound to be a painful man. A painful man is bound to be a misfortune man. And a misfortune man is the lazy man. God helps those who help themselves. Heaven helps those who help themselves. Natural law punishes those who are lazy, and heaven will abandon those who are lazy. Diligence symbolizes beauty, and laziness represents ugliness. The 8 features of laziness are as followings. Seeking no progress but ease and comfort. One is indifferent to anything but prefers reaping the fruits of others. Irresponsible for anything but prefers loafing, muddling along, and eating the bread of idleness. Stays up late at night and gets up late in morning without regular daily life in a weary state. Indulging in games with no desire to make progress. One idles about all day and muddles along without any aim. Sluggish and lazy, and never perfects one's skill but only pursues leisure and fears hardships and fatigue. Greedy on eating, sleeping, and playing with a confusing head and 4 lazy limbs. One never participates in anything personally or carries out self-criticizes but prefers complaining, grumbling, and criticizing the industrious people. Sluggish, prefers postponing and performing one's duty in a perfunctory manner with numerous excuses. One finally accomplishes nothing. Running water never becomes putrid, and a door hinge is never worm-eaten. Excellence in work is possible only with diligence, otherwise everything is ruined in laziness. Once laziness becomes one's second nature, he will idle away everything into nothing. If one is diligent, one is skillful in everything, otherwise if one is lazy, he will be accompanied by countless illness. The tower of 9 stories rose from a small heap of earth. The journey of 1,000 miles commenced with a single step. A small leak will ruin a big dam. The beautiful homeland will be ruined in laziness. So home without marriage and family will fight against laziness from beginning to end. For homeland, the laziness is AIDS, cancer, viral dysentery, robbers, and devils. How to carry out the life and death fighting with laziness. The Chanyuan Celestial equipped with laziness are not allowed to enter into home without marriage and family. The Chanyuan Celestial equipped with laziness and remaining impenitent are not allowed to live in home without marriage and family. Anyone who pities, tolerates, and sympathizes with laziness means committing a crime to home without marriage and family. The lazy guys will be disdained by the others in home without marriage and family. No one is going to associate with lazy persons. One radish, one hole. Do not leave any opportunities for the lazy persons to utilize. Home without marriage and family will regularly organize some community studies to analyze the lazy thoughts, lazy habits, lazy style, and lazy psychology. Once there is any incipient tendency, we will get rid of it from our thoughts. We will praise, eulogize diligence, and award the highest honor to the diligent people. Home without marriage and family belongs to all Chanyuan Celestials, and every Chanyuan Celestial is the owner of home without marriage and family. If someone regards home without marriage and family as hotel or private company and regards himself as migrant job-hunting boy or public servant, he makes a mistake on cognition. If home without marriage and family is regarded as the manner of Shui Feng or the Dean, it is an even bigger mistake. Only when each Chanyuan Celestial regards oneself as the master of the home and perform the duty and obligation of the master, home without marriage and family can flourish and grow. All our ideals can realize in home without marriage and family. Adam and Eve are forced to leave the Eden because they do not know how to treasure. The ideal communities in history disappeared under the erosion of laziness because the people do not fulfill their master's duties and responsibilities. Whether home without marriage and family can move on continually to the ideal shore depends on the efforts of each Chanwen celestial. Whether we can survive or die depends on whether we can defeat laziness. 千年界生活拷贝内容 The contents of copies of life in the thousand-year world. Xiefeng, translation edited. June 8, 2010. Home without marriage and family, which is created by Life Chanuen, is a transfer station from the mortal world to heaven, the thousand-year world, and also a transfer base of self-improvement and self-refinement to heaven, the 10,000-year world, the Elysium Islands continent. The life and home without marriage and family copies the lifestyle of the celestial beings. In the thousand-year world in them, live according to the lifestyle of the celestials in the thousand-year world. It is the basic guarantee for us to achieve the consciousness and quality of celestial beings in the thousand-year world and finally reach the thousand-year world. The contents of copies of life in the thousand-year world. No marriage, no husband and wife, no family, men and women neither marry, nor are given in marriage. Nobody is capable of possessing any private property. Non-possession ownership is practiced. Individuals' basic needs are to be met by collective. Each does his best. Each takes what he needs. Everybody has her tasks and takes corresponding responsibilities. They serve mutually and they owe each other nothing. No leaders but differences in responsibilities in arranging and a director for mediating life and work. Anyone who is able to work must undertake a job, regardless her age or gender. No idlers here. Each member participate in the collective learning and recreational activities voluntarily. To keep the environment clean and tidy, everything is orderly, peaceful, and warm. There is no constitution, no law, no regulation, no commandment, and no dharma. There is only holographic order. Be collectively responsible for the support of the elderly and the raise and education of the children. There is no currency or reward. Everything is done in accordance with the natural instinct. Hold a variety of cultural and recreational activities. No temples, Taoist temples, monastery, churches, and idol worship. Neither burn incense nor kowtow or offer sacrifices. No witchcraft, magic, martial arts, Taoist magic, arts, and other superstitious activities. Respect for science and make the full application of science and technology to serve the people. No financial industry, commerce, accounting, courts, lawyers, soldiers, policemen, and prison. Be cremated after death without leaving the ashes, the graves, or memorial places. Do not produce any form of lethal weapons or competitive tools, appliances, or toys. No tobacco or cigarettes. 2 meals a day. All members take their meals at the canteen. No eating the meat of wild animals, and no eating any animals, including poultry and livestock in the end. Outdoor bathing places, bathrooms, restrooms, and toilets can be used regardless of gender. Be free in love and sex. Be free from interference and control, as long as they are willing to do this, regardless the number of people. There is no conception of father and kinship. The baby will be raised and educated by full-time nursery staffs and institutions after her mother's lactation period. All members change their habitats for one time every 3 years. The global standard of living is basically unified, no luxury, no waste. Everyone will be guaranteed for sharing living resources. Each member enjoys a separate bedroom, which is absolutely free from disturbance, supervision, and control. Follow the way of the greatest creator in an all-round way. The above is just a basic copy of the content of life in the thousand-year world, and there, left a lot of content and details which will be adjusted and changed according to Life Genuine value that Dharma sets no rules, it is ever-changing. Keep the main but change the others according to the situation. Everything will be carried out for everyone's joy, happiness, freedom, and blessedness, and focus on the care for nature, the cherishment of life, the reverence for the greatest creator, and the sublimation of the quality of life. 全面吸纳新时代意识 Comprehensively absorb new era values. Dayform Buddha. March 20th, 2007. New era value presents us a broad prospect of spiritual and physical world. Staring from Seth, then Orin, the Law of One, Cryon, Wingmakers by Huzi, series articles by Chinku and Buddha, Conversations with God, Disappearance of the Universe, and so on to A Course in Miracles. New Era Value is an enormous and complicated system. It inherits, protects, and develops almost all wisdoms of sages and saints. The field it spans from science, philosophy, psychology, biology, noology, uranology, parapsychology, pathology, space theory, religion theory, theory of universe creation, and theory of life origin, to the Christ, Lao Tzu, Tao Te Ching, and supreme masters in India, such as Osho, Bhagwan, and Krishnamurti, etc. It was almost all-inclusive and unusual brilliant, laid a good foundation for human beings into a new stage. The human species is changing. The human beings in Life-Genuine era will not be the same today. It is an inevitability of history and the evolution of human race to eliminate and purify human being who will step from physical state into spirit and soul state. Their survival will not merely depend on material things, rather depend more on energy of spirit and soul. Life-Genuine consciousness refers to the new era value. What mentioned above are the foundation and organic parts of Life-Genuine value. Life-Genuine will link the multitude pearls together by the string of following the path of the greatest creator, and make them into one so as to provide a bright way for the progression and development of human society. Comprehensively absorb new era values is a strategy for Life-Genuine to carry out the policy of all-in-one. By discarding the dregs and selecting the essence, Life-Genuine will embrace the new era by presenting a harmonious, peaceful, and joyful picture scroll to humankind, and fundamentally changing the environment of human life. Network as tremendous energy storage of resources was born for the new era. Its significance and value are far beyond the total value of coal, oil, and mineral resources on Earth, even exceed the amount of energy provided the sun. Make full use of the resources and energy provided by Internet is a definite way for new era human beings. Everything should be developed according to the principle of minimum drag. Internet is much more rapid, economical, and convenient than any form of sermon and communication. So, the old pattern for spreading religion, such as writing by hand, will be replaced by the Internet. There will be no future for clinging strongly to tradition, and conservativeness will be destroyed by the trend of the times. The only way out is to accept the new era value in order to step into the new era of Life-Genuine. New era value mainly include: the universe consists of three elements: consciousness, energy, and structure. The whole universe is a great consciousness, and the great consciousness refers to the greatest creator. Every life in universe is a part of the consciousnesses of the greatest creator. Material world is the embodiment of consciousness. An individual world of life is a reflection of self-consciousness. As long as the consciousness exists, the soul will exist forever. The carrier of soul will vary with consciousness. Human beings have infinite creative ability and developmental potentials. Lifetime is just a brief trip for life, and the meaning of life lies in its process. Your destiny is created by yourself, so you should be responsible for it and stop complaining others. There is no conflict in pursuing of health, richness, freedom, and the promotion of spiritual nature. Humanity should move with nature rather than being oppressed. The core of improving the spiritual nature should focus on deepening the understanding, changing the thinking, perfecting the consciousness and the non-material structure of life, rather than on pursing the wizardry and extra-sensory perception. Everything is Zen. Everything is apocalypse. The secrets of the universe and life are hidden in the ever-changing natural phenomenon. The nature of the greatest creator is sex, love, and Tao. Following the principle and theory of sex, love, and Tao is to believe in the greatest creator. The greatest creator and other gods do not bring the soul to trial. 36-dimensional space is the model of the universe, which has channels, space tunnel. Past, present, and future are closely linked together through the time tunnel, and all of them can be changed. There is no such a thing which is changeless. The principle of change is the change of consciousness. When consciousness changes, everything will change accordingly. Love is able to purify our heart, perfect the non-material structure of our life, and has the quality of angel. So we should learn to love. Not only love ourselves, but also love other people and society, the greatest creator, God and Buddha, nature, and life. The key to happiness is to offer our love, release our love, always feel gratitude and strive to create. The world we could perceive by sense organs is narrow and small. You should break the shackles, shift into a larger space, open your telegnosis and see your true nature. New Era Value admits telepathy, but do not believe it blindly. Everything should be tested by science, truth, logic, and spiritual nature. In most cases, our soul is in a state of sleeping. The real world we believe is actually a fantasyland. Because of the habitual thinking, we are unable to realize that we are in Fantasyland. New Era Value requires us to wake up from the dead sleep and enter into a relatively realistic reality, enjoy much freer, comfortable life, and live without fear. All diseases are reflections of the defective spirit and mind. You must make great efforts in consciousness and pay more attention on life structure in order to cure it thoroughly. Qualitative change requires the accumulation of quantitative change. Qualitative change will surely occur if the quantitative change is accumulated to a critical point. This principle is applicable to self-improvement. When self-improvement is accumulated to a certain degree, his life will be alienated, and he will become a celestial, Buddha, or God. While the core of self-improvement is to accumulate merits, the core of self-refinement is to change thinking, make transition from matter thinking to visualized thinking, associative thinking, elusive thinking, hard image thinking, Taiji thinking, non-form thinking, and holographic order thinking. In universe, everything is necessity except for one contingency, which is the way how Tao operates. Therefore, please never assume that you are lucky in gaining by fraud, for the result of cheating others and the gods is to cheat yourself. It is the same as by doing harm to others and nature, you will ultimately hurt yourself. The above is a part of the core ideas of New Era Value. New Era is coming. It is inevitable. All of those people who don't want to die should come closer to New Era Value. All those people who are dreaming of free life in heaven should get their outdated value replaced by the New Era Value. The world is developing rapidly. It is time to embark the spaceship, no more the slow carriage. Let's meet in the Life-Genuine Era. 天国里没有压迫和剥削. No oppressing and exploitation in heaven. Xiefeng. December 12, 2009. I had kept 3 dogs before, 2 German Shepherd and an ordinary puppy. Every day they have plenty of food. Also, there are spacious places in the front and backyards for their running and playing. I thought the 3 dogs should love each other and get along with each other harmoniously. But this is not the case. They often fight for food or for favors. I was very angry at this and said, "You deserve being dogs by birth. You can never become human beings." From the perspective of the 1,000-year world of heaven, I could see no reason for people struggling, fighting, and competing, no reason for oppression or exploitation because the natural resources is abundant enough for supporting all human beings on earth. How the greatest creator wish people could love each other and live in harmony all the time. But it is only an ideal. They have kept in competing and struggling for better life, intriguing or cheating for a little bit of natural resources. They have been creating hurts and hatred for empty reputation and social status. I'm very angry at this and think that you deserve being human beings by birth. You can never be celestials. There is no oppression or exploitation in heaven, no fight or competition. No unpleasant or unhappy events might occur among the celestials. They love each other, living a harmonious and happy life without limitation. If a dog wants to become a man, it must act according to the way of thinking of human beings. If a person wants to become a celestial, she must act according to the consciousness of a celestial. A dog will remain a dog, and a person will remain a person forever if they don't change the way of thinking. Anyone who wants to go to the heaven through self-improvement or self-refinement must not compete, struggle, and exploit others. You should not make others feel unhappy in any excuse or any approach. You should not restrict the freedom of others in any name or impose your own ideas and opinions to others. You should not bring any spiritual, mindful, or physical harm on others. Home without marriage and family of Life-Genuine is set up based on the lifestyle in the 1,000-year world. So the celestials here should not hurt each other. We should not get on with other people in the way of thinking of human beings of the mortal world. We should not oppress or exploit mutually. Instead, we should live the life in the 1,000-year world and love with each other like the celestials there. Only in this way is it possible for us to have the qualification for getting the thousand-year world. In home without marriage and family, if a celestial hurt the other celestials and make them unhappy, I would tell you that you not only hurt the other celestials, but also hurt me, Xuefeng the guide. You hurt me heart and my feeling, you hurt Jesus the Christ and Buddha Sakyamuni, and you also hurt the favor of the greatest creator. You are only qualified to be a human being, rather than being a celestial in heaven. 天下第一家园, the number one home in the world. Xiefeng, July 24th, 2008. Where there is happiness and auspiciousness, there is the greatest creator. Where there is joy and delight, there is caring of Jesus Christ, Buddha Sakyamuni. Freedom and happiness are wishes of sages and wise men, saints in all ages. Quarreling and fighting belong to devils. The place struggling for fame and power to raise self-pride is the gathering place of demons and monsters. The place filled with suffering, constraints, and misery is the bustling place of ignorant persons and laity. Life Genuine is the number one home in the world, which possesses the following 18 features. We should constantly revere the greatest creator, revere life, revere nature, and walk the way of the greatest creator. We should constantly trust and comply with the instructions of Jesus Christ, Buddha Sakyamuni. We should constantly obey the guidance of the sages and saints of all ages and carry out them in our daily life. We should constantly create Life Genuine era for human beings and live by Life Genuine values ourselves. And the most important task is to make countries, political parties, religions, and families disappear to set up a global government and realize such a society. Person of virtue won't be abandoned by government. All people in the world become one big family. No one pockets anything found on the road. Doors unnecessarily to be shut in the evening. The weather is pleasant. Harmony and peace are everywhere. Everyone is happy and joyful. Everything is prosperous. Human beings and the earth become one, and happiness and abundance are everywhere. We should constantly show the truth, goodness, beauty, love, honesty, and trust side of the nature, human life and life. We should constantly climb towards the summit of human life and life. All the members of Life Genuine are brothers, sisters, relatives, and lovers. We will not quarrel, argue, fight, conquer, compel, impel, exploit, or depress each other, but care, cherish, respect, and love each other. The traditional family pattern and husband-wife relationship will completely disappear. The private property will be canceled, and the whole society adopts non-ownership system. The aged will be supported jointly, children will be fostered jointly, and people share each other's fortunes and difficulties together. We pursue the delighted, joyful, free, and happy life. Life will sublimate towards the heaven, the thousand-year world, the 10,000-year world, Elysium world, and celestial archipelago. No one will oppose, interfere, and confront against government. Everyone will consciously stick to the values of Life Genuine and obey the management of government in daily life. Everyone will be pursuing a Shangri-La lifestyle, civilized and joyful, healthy and abundant. Everyone is busy in pursuing the healthy, well-off, and land of idyllic beauty characterized with civilization, elegance, and comfort. All the members of Life Genuine are not infestors or idlers, but creators and dedicators. All the members of Life Genuine are not the talkative moralizer or fault critics, but the constructors of practicing what one preaches and setting oneself an example for others to follow. No one pursues the individual will or personal willingness, but the Life Genuine values. Everyone should act according to one's temperament, do according to one's will, fulfill one's duty, and take one's needs. The number one home in the world is born due to the big universal adjustment and purpose of purifying Earth. It lays foundation for the new lifestyle after the year of 2013. I wish all the wise men will find the door of this number one home in the world as early as possible and become the member as soon as possible. This is above everything else. 我们是全球主义者，达心平气和. We are the globalists too. Hearties, Jinping Kai. Xuefeng, April 30th, 2007. Hello, Hearties. I have read your article. Xuefeng, how can you not hate the Japanese? Thanks for asking. The first thing I want to tell you is that Life Genuine does not belong to any countries, political parties, nationalities, and religions, but belong to the whole mankind. What we pursue is not the statism or nationalism, but the globalism. The Life-Changyuan era initiated by us belongs to the whole mankind, and Chanyuan Celestial is a name which does not have nationality. Life-Changyuan originated from Africa, and its concept's publicity started from Japan. Its extensive publicity started from North America. Its website server was not in China. We love China, and we also love Japan and all other countries around the world. We love Chinese, Japanese, and all people around the world. Chanyuan Celestials of Life-Changyuan come from different nationalities around the world, including a lot of Japanese. We cannot build Life-Changyuan with hatred, but love. When most people around the world have become Chanyuan Celestial, states, religions, political parties, and families will disappear. And all countries such as US, Britain, Japan, and China will disappear. The hatred among different nationalities will also disappear. So we do not treat the world and various nationalities from the perspectives of history or present, but from the future perspective of Life-Changyuan era. You may misunderstand that Life-Changyuan is just a Chinese organization because its language used currently is in Chinese. This is an illusion. In the future, you will see the different versions of Life-Changyuan English version, Korean version, and Japanese version. Then you will not think that Life-Changyuan is confined to land of China. In light of cultural heritage, the current Chanyuan Celestial belongs to Chinese nation. However, in light of territorial scope, the current Chanyuan Celestial belongs to US, Canada, France, Germany, New Zealand, Taiwan, and China. In light of nationality, Chanyuan Celestial belongs to American, German. If I want, I can become an African in 3 months. So Life-Changyuan does not represent China but the world. As a result, Life-Changyuan does not have the problem of hating Japanese nor Chinese. Perhaps you will laugh at us and think that the concept of Life-Changyuan cannot be accepted by other ethnic people except some parts of Chinese. I can tell you it is much easier for other ethnic people to accept the concept of Life-Changyuan than our Chinese. In light of the concept of Life-Changyuan, I have talked about it with Englishmen, Portuguese, Brazilians, and Africans. They all are interested in it and ask me when the English version of Life-Changyuan can come into the world. I told them that we only have the Chinese version. And after we finish the main concept framework in Chinese, we will start to spread Life-Changyuan in other languages around the world. At that time, lots of people from other countries and nationalities will become Chanyuan Celestial. So, Life-Changyuan will not only safeguard the interest of Chinese people, but the interest of all people around the world. As a result, we don't have the hatred for Japanese. It will be an enormous mistake if you just regard Life-Changyuan as a self-refining organization. A large quantity of content in the concept of Life-Changyuan is not about self-refining and self-improving, but to teach people how to be an upright person. Why does not Life-Changyuan choose the road of Christ, the road of Buddha, the road of Muslim, the road of Marx, Lenin, and Mao Zedong, the road of becoming a celestial being and the road of science, but the road of the greatest creator? Because Life-Changyuan wants to normalize all the religions and to initiate a brand new era for all human beings. Life-Changyuan era. Statism and nationalism cannot relieve the suffering of human beings. On the other hand, they will aggravate the suffering of people and accelerate the occurrence of those disasters. So we do not advocate and encourage people to hate each other, but advocate people to forgive, understand, respect, and support each other. This is also in accordance with the instruction of Jesus Christ to love your foes. This is in accordance with the instruction of the Buddha to be merciful, too, and it is further in accordance with the benevolence tenet of Confucianism of Chinese nation. A man with knowledge, wisdom, and benevolence should not narrowly go around campaigning for his own interest, but should first serve for the whole mankind. That is the difference of nobility and the inferiority, the difference of human and animal. Human beings should not be restricted and led by the representatives of different interest groups, but should be guided by those the most civilized people. Above are my replies to your questions. You may think about it. Wish you have an ease heart. 乌托邦与第二家园 Utopia and the Home Without Marriage and Family. Shuefeng, August 25, 2007. It is human beings' general attribute to pursue an ideal realm, society, human life, and living, which is also the everlasting resources of spiritual driving force. The sages in history whose common wish is to lead human beings into an ideal society. No matter Plato's Republic, Thomas More's Utopia, Edward Bellamy's Looking Backward, Confucius' Great Harmony, and Marxist, Leninist theory about communism, they all want to lead human beings into an ideal society. In fact, when we study Lao Tzu, Sakyamuni, Jesus, and Muhammad's aspiration, it is easy to find that they also want to bring human beings into an ideal society. Human beings not only study ideal society in theory, but also explore it in reality. From the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom, Brook Farm in America, Fruitlands, Shakers, Pullman's Capitalism Utopia to Collective Farm in Soviet, People's Commune in China, Osho's Community, and Kinds of Utopia in Japan, America, and Canada, they all try to explore an ideal approach for human beings. Unfortunately, the explorations above finally come to nothing in the sense of the practice. Yet it left us huge spiritual wealth, though none of them worked it out. Maybe we cannot say they were because they helped us to move to a higher level from the beginning stage. Moreover, it is these explorations that made us able to get into the channel of Life Genuine and finally lay a foundation for human beings to get into Life Genuine. A theory, doctrine, or a creed won't work in practice if it is not perfect and also can't lead human beings into an ideal society. If you conduct the practice with imperfect theory, doctrine, or creed, the result is that everything is lost. We will find out the defectiveness when we study the theory, doctrine, and creed in history. However, we shouldn't totally repudiate them for their defectiveness, but discard the dregs and select the essence, inherit the essence of predecessors' thought, develop and bring forth new idea, and finally lead human beings into an ideal realm. No matter what theory it is, it will be useless if you can't put it into practice. And no matter what practice it is, it will be walking in the darkness without the guidance of the theory. So far as human beings' attitudes toward ideal society, Life Genuine value is a relative perfect system that is not the brag and boast but a reality. Anyone who disagrees with this idea can compare your own theory, doctrine, and creed to the values of Life Genuine. As long as you compare them comprehensively, you have to acknowledge the values of Life Genuine. If we make a summary of the theory, doctrine, creed, and practice of Utopia society in history, we can find there are 8 major limitations. There isn't a right concept of universe and right recognition of the greatest creator, time, and space. And there isn't a reliable belief system. There isn't a right concept of life and a full-scale understanding about the origin, development, and destination of life. There isn't a right concept of human life and a specific realization and definition to the values and significances of human life. Can't escape the restraints from the thinking of country and traditional family, and still turn over in the field of the country and the traditional family. Overlook the indolence, decay, and autocracy in human nature. Short of systemic and explicit theory interpretation, use much more threatening and frightening tone, such as "go to hell." Short of the guidance of spirit and heart, either depress the love and sex or indulge the love and sex. Short of freedom, life is too dull. Disciplines are too strict and impartial. Human nature is suppressed. The home without marriage and family is the continuation of utopia and communism practice in history. It not only preserves the essence of the human intelligence, but also develops a new visual field. Not only avoids its defectiveness, but also improves its theory and practice. Although many problems will occur in the process of concrete practice, we believe that the home without marriage and family can act the leading role in the process of getting into Life Genuine era. As long as we think actively, act practically and realistically, improve continuously, and hold steady of Life Genuine values. There will be 8 main features in the home without marriage and family of Life Genuine. Regard Life Genuine values as standard of living. Work according to one's ability, distribution according to one's need. Rid of the consciousness of family, religion, political party, and country. No law and regulation, commandment, and dharma. Everything depends on the power of soul. Act with one's nature. Freedom of love and sex. Follow the lifestyle of celestial beings in the 1,000-year world. Collective activity and collective canteen. No assignment, work is one's own choice. There are endless recreational activities and well-off in material. What kind of people can get into home without marriage and family? Fully comprehend the values of Life Genuine and willing to follow these values. Willing to sacrifice to the happiness of humankind. Mentally and physically healthy, love working. Generally paid off worldly obligation, having no worldly attachments. Regard yourself as one of the most civilized and excellent people among human beings. Enjoy entertainments. Prefer to be clean and tidy. Believe that you can bring happiness to others instead of worries. Yearn for the lives of Life-Genuine Era, Celestial Islands Continent, Elysium World. I would like to address the people who wish to get into the home without marriage and family by quoting the words of an author. In every great revolution era, there are some authentic idealists who had great sympathy to the humankind and had fought for human beings' freedom and liberation heroically as their magnificent career. For the purpose of the national benefits, everyone is obligated to sacrifice himself. Where the Tao is, where is heart to place? Though thousands of people reject it, I will still toward it. Regardless of success or failure, despising the high position and great wealth, they dedicate their precious youth, blood, even life to fulfill the wonderful dream. Such people are authentic, lovable, and respectable people and worth to be remembered and esteemed by humankind. What they have done liberate human beings step by step and make people gradually step into the kingdom of freedom. Their sacrifices opened up a bright future for the later generation. 祥和温馨家园应这样建立. How should we establish the peaceful and warm homeland? Xiefeng. November 20th, 2009. Chanyuan Celestial should be the most refined, cultivated, reasonable, and civilized person. The homeland constituted by such kind of people should be peaceful, warm, bright, harmonious, joyful, and happy. The love of the greatest creator should be fully deployed here, and the love of Jesus the Christ and Buddha Sakyamuni should be realized here. The beauty of nature should be deployed here. If we can't approach these, we will feel ashamed in front of the greatest creator, Jesus the Christ, Buddha, and the nature. We will set up a model of lifestyles for human beings on earth and build the homeland into a warm, peaceful, bright, joyful, and happy place. Only by filling up the abyss of misery and bring human beings out of sufferings will we worthy the name of Life-Genuine Celestials. Will we be able to pay off the debts which have been accumulated in many lifetimes? Will we be able to accumulate ample capitals so that we can come and go freely in unlimited time and space? A peaceful and warm homeland should be established like this. Revere the greatest creator, life and nature. Follow the way of the greatest creator. Stick to 800 values for new era human being. Conflict resolution in humans' consciousness is through love rather than promoting Life-Genuine values through arguing, disputing, struggling, or battling. Be patient with those who are unwilling to accept our value and permit them to think about this for a period of time. Be sure to carry out our practice like a Chinese saying, when a melon is ripe, it falls off its stem. When water flows, a channel is formed. Do not disturb other people's belief system. No matter which religion organization, which group of self-refinement, which political party or government they might be, we will not disturb them. We only follow our own way without hurting other people. We will not criticize and disturb them, and we will not say that we are the only correct one. We advocate, let 100 flowers blossom and 100 schools of thought contend. Fragrant flowers attract butterflies. Chanyuan Celestial should set up examples for human beings through their outstanding qualities and behavior instead of highlighting themselves through preaching or arguing. We revere and love life. We would hurt nobody, even demons and ghosts and all sorts of evil spirits, let alone flowers, birds, insects, and human beings. We refuse any forms of struggling, and we would never force other life to accept our concepts in the name of justice. Other people could hurt us, but we would never hurt other people. Brothers, sisters, and lovers of the homeland must be amiable to each other and no blaming. We should not educate each other. We should perfect ourselves first rather than staring other people's shortcomings, especially those celestials who contributed to the construction of Life-Genuine a lot, the celestials of spirit level and management level and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. We must not try to teach or instruct other celestials, but should give a demonstration. Bear in your mind that in Life-Genuine, education and instruction is the guide's business, not yours. Your business is to demonstrate your genuineness, goodness, beauty, love, faith, and honesty through your words and action. You just need to do your job well, trying not to be above others, trying not to be a leader, for the homeland is neither a religion organization nor a political party. There is no leading or being led, govern, or being governed here. Every celestial is the baby of the greatest creator, and the follower of Jesus the Christ, Buddha Sakyamuni, celestial Lao Tzu, and Prophet Muhammad. Every celestial is the dearest of Guide Shuefeng. So, in our homeland, no mental, psychological, and physical hurt is permitted on the celestials. Not one jot or title will be permitted. We will try to make all celestials enjoy a happy and free lifetime and a beautiful future. Any idea or practice to force one's will on the celestials is totally wrong. It is the guides as well as everybody's duty to protect our loved ones from any mental, psychological, and physical hurt. In the aspect of sex in the homeland, it is open and free, but there is no permission for any attempt to seduce, lure, threat, harass, or control other people according to Chanyuan values. Making love is an advanced and beautiful dance of two souls with same values, rather than a way to release sex desire. No stable and special relationship is permitted among celestials except for some historical relationship, such as husband and wife, parent and children. The stable and special relationship will be harmful to the harmony of the homeland, and it might be dragged into the swirl of secular world. Every celestial should pay off the debts, free from worldly attachment, accumulate merits, and create a beautiful future all by himself. What the homeland provides is a foundation and circumstance for each celestial rather than dealing with personal affairs in secular world. One must be responsible for his wrongdoings and take the consequences. Any intention of obtaining happiness from the homeland without personal endeavor and devotion is illusion, because it deviates from justice and fairness, which is the way of the greatest creator. Therefore, no selfishness and laziness are permitted here. If you don't give in this home, there is no way you will have the right of enjoying the happy life in the homeland. History has given us a golden chance for sublimating our quality of life, and this age also give us a chance of demonstrating our genuineness, goodness, beauty, love, faith, and honesty. People will be facing with more and more crises and dangers, and there will be a period of hard times in future. We should bring hope for people and create a beautiful future for human beings. In such a perilous and harsh moment, it is what the greatest creator has blessed us and what Tao has glorified us. We must hold firm faith and belief without a second changing and devote all we have into the construction of the homeland, into this great career for human happiness. To be selfish, you have to be unselfish first. To be somebody, you have to be nobody first. The secret of becoming celestials lies in here. This is way of construction of a peaceful and warm homeland. This is the way of creating life genuine for human beings. This is the way of self-fulfillment. 新时代的先驱们，请向生命禅院靠拢. The pioneers of the new era, please come close to life genuine. Dayform Buddha. There are a lot of people in present society, teachers and messengers, masters and far-sighted people. They are showing the prospect in front of human beings and are creating instruments for this prospect. These messengers and far-sighted people are pioneers of a new era. Quoted from Seek 4. We have been aware of the fact that a new era is brewing. The old order will disappear. A new human world will come into being on Earth. It's a period of time full of joy, a time when the frequency of life is transforming rapidly to high-frequency wave, a golden time of elegance and talent blooming which is hard to meet in the past thousands of years, and also a period of time for every people to choose his ascending life or descending life. Those people who do not have any notion of the great leap in human awareness remain in the dark about the situation and still follow the old order in their struggling for power and benefits as well as breeding resentment and evil. Some people with slight wisdom are dazzling at the atmosphere of the new era and unable to absorb so much sudden information. They are not able to make transition in their mind and still cherish those antiquated philosophy in order to obtain a piece of worn boat deck of the old times for surviving the oncoming billows of the new era. The awareness of human beings is experiencing significant changes now. The total amount of knowledge and wisdom accumulated in the past 5,000 years is nothing compared with the amount of knowledge and wisdom over the next 5 years and now, because it is a qualitative leap, a result of impacting energy of new photons in the universe. It is a rapid sublimation of life, rather than long and gradual changes. We are pioneers of a new era, shouldering a great and honorable mission with joyful and happy mood. We are open and willing to accept the oncoming new era. We are far-sighted masters and angels of the new era. A completely new era will come into being in our effort. Any souls which sense the atmosphere of the new era and have made good preparation in spirit should break their old concept out of traditional constraints and take part in the construction of the new era with all his strength. We are not the kind of human being in ordinary sense, because we are shouldering a sacred mission. Our future life decides how much we will contribute for the construction of the new era. Please keep in mind, Life Genuine is the core area for leading the new era. Everyone who is willing to devote his talent and spiritual wisdom to the new era should get into Life Genuine. It would be a great pity for those who watch the golden chance slip by out of hesitation. This would be a great era engraved in human beings' memory, and we are standing now on the eve of it. A great era needs great figures, and great figures need great thinking. Any conservative or indifferent idea would be mocked and cast aside mercilessly. The new era will break the boundary existing now in different countries, religions, regions, and cultures, and it will bring about a great shock to the traditional idea of family. It will sweep away all of the old concepts, moralities, ideas, and traditional habits, reshaping the world in unparalleled, colorful, quickly changing and spectacular images. It will emerge in an entirely new gesture on the stage of universal life. I hope you could abandon prejudice and turn to Life Genuine. Any kind of thinking aiming at guiding the era by means of individual power is unpractical and will obstruct people from making progress. Except in Life Genuine, nobody is powerful and intelligent enough to deal with so complicated event in future, and there will be no organization in the world have the ability for overall grasp and foresight for the oncoming new era or be capable of unifying all religions and political parties all over the world. I hope everybody getting into Life Genuine become Chanyuan Celestial and obtain Visa of Life. When you devote yourself entirely into this trend of times, which is unlike anyone in history before or since, you will find that you are embracing by the love of the greatest creator, brothers, sisters, and lovers, and you will live in hourly happiness and excitement which you have never experienced before. The value of your life will take on a completely new meaning, and your wisdom and knowledge will enhance rapidly in geometric series. We do not have much time to improve the incomplete consciousness of human beings. What we should do now is to destroy the old order completely and rebuild a paradise of haven on the ruins. Angels, masters, and all far-sighted pioneers of the new era, let's take the wing with non-form thinking, Taiji thinking, hard image thinking, and move forward for the direction of holographic order thinking. Let's devote our youth and talents to human world as well as the upcoming new era. During those difficult days in future when there will be no light coming from the sun and the moon and the earth will be shrouded in darkness, we will serve as the light of hope for human beings, and we will bring the kind, honest, and hardworking people into a new era. Today, we are working at the time of the transition from the old to the new. Tomorrow, we will meet in a sunny and prosperous fairyland where all under heaven are of one family and all love each other devotedly. Every effort we make today will pay off sooner or later. Our beautiful and pure mind will be blooming gorgeously in the new future. And then, we will say, we feel no qualms about the times, lifetime, mountains, rivers, and the world. We feel no qualms about the greatest of Creator. Every effort we do it for the new era. It is worthwhile. 新时代诺亚方舟, The Noah's Ark in New Era. Xiefeng, October 22nd, 2008. Noah built an ark by revelation. Because people of that time were so corrupted, those out of the ark were drowned by the downpour lasting for 40 days and nights. When Noah built his ark, people around him laughed at him and ignored his advices. They got married, ate and drunk, and did everything just as they pleased. What was the result then? All of them went to hell except Noah's families. The rate of human salvation is less than 1/10,000th. Today Shuefeng, got the revelation to build Life Genuine, the Noah's Ark in New Era, in order to raise the rate of salvation to 1 or 200th. But people who are living in China neglect my instruction and advice. They are still persisting in their old ways and doing everything they like. Moreover, they insult me, attack me, betray me, and besmirch me and break my heart and make me upset. So, After the 98 Chanyuan celestials are listed in the roster of the Noah's Ark of the new era, the door of Noah's Ark will be closed to China. According to you, I'm an evil and what I'm creating is just a heap of rubbish. I don't understand the so-called truth. You want to put me to death and think my words are completely cheating and lying. Okay, I stay away from China, leaving it to you for struggling. Show me what you can get out of it. See whether you can walk out the 36 mazes. I'm the messenger of the greatest creator, and the incarnation of Jesus the Christ and Buddha Sakyamuni. I came here to gather the ripened crops. I'm here, I'm calling you, but you just don't listen. So okay, let's see. Do not imagine that you will have salvation because you are a Christian. Do not imagine that you could have a chance for the Elysium world because you are capable of spreading Buddhism. Do not imagine that you would go to heaven because you died for jihad, holy war. Do not imagine that you could have a chance to knock up the door of heaven because you have a lot of money. Do not imagine that you could open the door of life because you are a man in power. Do not imagine that you should be permitted to go to heaven because you are such an international celebrity. Do not imagine that you would be a subject of the heaven because you are capable of preaching. Do not imagine that you are qualified to enter into the higher level space of life because you are capable of casting some spells or practicing out of body travel. Do not take it for granted that you are such a kind and honest man that you should enjoy the life in the heaven. Not everyone can possibly understand the secrets of space and life. You should often ask yourself, what merits do I have for obtaining the secrets of space and life? The love and cherishment of the greatest creator to human beings have been manifested by Life Genuine. The love of Christ has been manifested by Life Genuine. Buddha's mercy and wisdom has been manifested by Life Genuine. Human situations and the way out have been manifested by Life Genuine. What more do you want? You people are so arrogant, ignorant, and tricky that you regard yourself as somebody. You are so crafty but ignorant, wise but cunning, proud but stupid, knowledgeable but unperceptive, timid but barbarous, industrious but greedy. Do you deserve good life and the life in the heaven? No. Your life should always intertwine agonies, link with worries, rooted with sadness, and accompanied with sufferings. This is exactly the destination you made for yourself. The door of Life Genuine will be closed to the Chinese culture, and it will be difficult to enter into the Life Genuine arc after that. There is a good way for salvation in Life Genuine, a key for the Life Genuine era, and a map and an instructor which will provide clear instructions as well as the path for the destination. This is a rare opportunity in thousands of years. Once missed, you will have to wait another 1,000 years for it. It is required formally that you should first read the Bible, the Diamond Sutra, the Quran, and Tao Te Ching, study scientific theories and wisdom of the sages and saints, experience other initial approaches and theoretical system, learn, discuss, and exchange extensively so as to enter into the Life Genuine. But now, if you want to be a Chanyuan Celestials, you must strictly follow my guidance, and that is the final. Either you believe or you don't. Hugging your half-belief is harming yourself as well as others. All those who had absorbed the wisdom of Chanyuan and in turn, attacked Life Genuine and made obstructions for the construction of Life Genuine, you will end up an inflamed layer and frozen layer for your future life. You will be closely hemmed in on all sides, and it is absolutely impossible for you to escape from this, because you hinder the advance of many people for the heaven. You hinder the early coming days for the Life Genuine era. When the time comes, when those ghosts go to your house and haunt for the wrongdoings, you are to pay off. There isn't much time to linger, you have to count down. 心灵的家园，自由的王国. Home for soul and kingdom for freedom. Xiefeng. When I think of the life in the 1,000-year world, and then I compare it with the living conditions of current people, I really understand what is called the immeasurably vast difference. This feeling just like a man who has been changed into a dog, lived among dogs, and then he speaks of the human living conditions with dogs. It is hard to avoid feeling sadness as one faces such situations. Due to the flaw of thinking coupled with the lacking of life knowledge, people cannot understand 36-dimensional space, cannot know the greatest creator, and cannot listen to the teachings of Jesus and Sakyamuni. They run about madly on the wrong paths and become farther and farther from Tao. Facing such situation, I am anxious to leave early. However, I firm my belief each time when I remind that I can go to the Elysium world and enjoy the better life than that of the thousand-year world. I will give a focused explanation on the anti-material world after I finish the 100 chapters of the Revelation, and my mission will also be almost finished when I accomplish the anti-material world. And then it's time for me to leave. In fact, the principle of life is very easy, and the difference is that the thinking ability of people cannot reach that high. Once you have completely understood it, any profound things will be as simple as 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. I hope everyone should not regard Life Genuine as a religious or political organization but as a home for soul or kingdom for freedom. Neither should regard Shui Feng as a king. Yaling Celestial elect me as the king of the seeking knowledge kingdom. I can understand the mood, but that would destroy me. You should never treat me as a hierarch either. You can compare as brothers, friends, celestial friends, lovers, the small pig or old dog, but I am just me, just a tour guide. I have written a lot of articles, and many articles are nonsense for Chanyuan Celestials, who should not be constrained by my nonsense. My articles are just written for the people outside Life Genuine, and I just try my best to find the proper people and guide them to Life Genuine. Without these articles' footsteps, they cannot find this life palace Life Genuine. And once they have entered into Life Genuine, these articles' footsteps become no use. All the people being granted by me as Chanyuan Celestial and start the new life course, you are the ones I am looking for. It is the grace of the greatest creator, the blessing and guidance of God and Buddha, the good fortune made in the former life by you that we gather in Life Genuine from so many different places. For me, I just act under orders and come to look for you, to tell you the secret and exit of life. I don't have any merits or virtues for you. And it is not Shui Feng but the greatest creator that you should remember forever. About Satan, what I talked about may be different from that of others, but what I want to say is that Satan shares the same importance as Jesus. Without Jesus, many people cannot go to heaven. Without Satan, the inferno will be empty. As a result, the symmetry of whole life structure will lose balance, so Satan has to guide a large quantity of life into the underworld. In this way, there are only a small amount of life go to the upper world. Jesus said that the door of life is very narrow. Only few people can find and enter into it. For example, among 1.3 billion Chinese people, only about tens of thousands of people can find the life door. And whether they can enter into it is still a problem, such as Kunlun Celestial, Celestial Mountain Celestial, Celestial Island Celestial, Heaven River Celestial, Brook Celestial and Crane Celestial etc. approach to the gate of life door but then retreat back. This is their sadness and also is Satan's function. Now I have completely abandoned them and withdraw the name granted. Life Genuine will not have those people anymore. Wish the greatest creator pity them. Wish they have a good life. Wish they can catch the next lifeboat and enter into the supreme life space. Before everyone leaves the mortal world, Life Genuine is regarded as the home of the soul and kingdom of freedom. And please don't compare Life Genuine with the worldly society or religious situations. Without any rights or obligations, herein Life Genuine everybody acts according to his, her mind voice and emotional reaction. In Life Genuine, one need not do the things that one is unwilling to do, and it is unnecessary to compel oneself, certainly, nor to compel others either. At this point, I hope everyone to communicate, discuss frequently with others, and to help each other but not to argue and disparage others. And the most important thing is to keep harmony. Everyone has to learn to face the greatest creator alone. Namely, even without the guidance of Shui Feng in the future, everyone will be able to break through the constraint of space-time and go to the supreme life space. Although you are already very different, but strictly speaking you are still in confusion currently. It is very difficult to accept everything such as the 1,000-year world, 10,000-year world, Elysium world and life channels etc. in our mind. So I will try my best to explain it in anti-material world in simple and plain words. However, the key secret can only be explained separately to you because the nature's mystery cannot be revealed easily. You should not be anxious as we know haste makes waste, and things only can be easily settled when conditions are ready. 营造一个畅所欲言的环境. Create an environment for open dialogues. Xiefeng. Wherever there is sunshine, there is brightness. Valuable lands are with good geomantic omens, mild climate, and thriving plants. Life immersed in exultant happiness with spiritual radiance of the greatest creator doesn't know what is suppression. Jesus Christ's place doesn't have oppression, exploitation, and deception. Buddha Sakyamuni's place is full of kind, merciful, and docile people. Celestial Lao Tzu's place is well organized and full of vigor. The founder of Islam's place has no fervor that borders on idolatry, but only the greatest creator. Chanyuan celestials are the ripe crop of beautiful souls, and Life Chanyuan is a place privileged by the greatest creator. Home without marriage and family and paradise are places favored and cared by Jesus Christ, Buddha, celestial, prophet. Creating an environment for open dialogues is not only the will and teaching of the greatest creator and tutors of Life Chanyuan, but also the hope of all humankind. The relationship of Chanyuan celestials is the one between brothers, sisters, and lovers. Brothers, sisters, and lovers should take care of each other and convey thoughts at their ease. Each Chanyuan celestial is cherished by Spirit Guide who wishes each one of Chanyuan celestials is able to communicate and live a happy, cheerful, free, joyful life in the cozy and warm environment. Where there is oppression, there is misery and resistance. Might prevails in places without justice, inequality and grade differential prevails in places without open dialogues. Discrimination and indecency must exist in places where some people dare not talk openly. In a word, when we create an environment which everyone is able to convey their thoughts freely, we definitely follow the greatest creator's will and celestial's teaching, and we can be called as great self-improved self-refiner and be named as Chanyuan celestial. As long as an environment for open dialogues have been created, one is qualified for guiding humankind and is able to save humankind from the abyss of misery, thus ushers humankind into the Life Chanyuan era. As long as an environment for open dialogues have been created, all the false, the evil, and the ugly might be eliminated thoroughly. Schemers and careerists can't exist. Covert ghosts find no hiding places. In this way, every Chanyuan celestial is ensured to enjoy happy, merry, free life. How to create an environment for open dialogues? Following the greatest creator's Tao. We only follow the greatest creator's Tao. The belief of sages only accept one in his whole life. Might effectively eliminate disputes and conflicts caused by different beliefs. Only the same resonance in belief can lay the foundation for the environment for open dialogues. Adhering to 800 values for new era human being. Under the circumstances of being without legislation, laws, regulations, provisions, and commandments, adhering to 800 values for new era human being is the only way to protect people's rights and interests. The so-called open dialogues which don't adhere to 800 values for new era human being would surely turn into endless disputes and arguments. Implementing holographic order management. Holographic order management is not to govern. Everyone is master, everyone is servant. There is just division of labor, and not to mention the relationship between superior and inferior. Everyone tries to exert qualities of truth, goodness, beauty, love, trust, and honesty to perfection. Everyone just mind their own business, doesn't bother others, and gets involved into others' business. Everyone is responsible for the greatest creator and himself or herself. Do not offer help unless asked for. Willingly help those who seek for help. Be responsible for their own suggestions. Everyone build the sacred cord upon his or her conscience and be the judge of oneself. Adhering to a spirit guide policy in mind and soul. Chanyuan celestials don't have to instruct and teach interactively. Everyone can convey heartfelt feelings and thoughts. However, people are not allowed to instruct others in a superior manner or to belittle others' IQ. People have to know that the stupidest person is oneself. Working and living be arranged by the president. Chanyuan celestials can choose what they want to do, what they like in their work. Then, they would be arranged by the president. The president can't force any Chanyuan celestial to do anything he or she wouldn't like to. Everyone makes his or her own decision and does things according to his or her own will. Special requests can be raised to the president, and the president in turn would solve them accordingly. Advocating rebellious spirit. No one can affiliate spiritual, mental, physical harm to others. Once bearing grudge, people have to speak out and revolt. Complaints and suppression are unbearable. Tolerance sometimes is painful. In Life Chanyuan, people never tolerate. We should not make Chanyuan Celestial, who are our brothers, sisters, relatives, and lovers, to be painful. Never delete Chanyuan Celestial's articles and posts. As long as you are Chanyuan Celestial, you can talk and express whatever you want on the website of Life of Chanyuan. No one is allowed to delete it. Ease the heartfelt feelings of brothers, sisters, and lovers, even though those feelings are ridiculous, absurd, naive, or rebellious. Be cautious of arbitrariness on merits. Chanyuan Celestials make contributions for humankind through constructing Life of Chanyuan. This is their way of paying back for the evil they did in the past lives and accumulating wealth in heaven. To humankind and other Chanyuan Celestials, what they do can't be called good deeds. We should resist superior, arrogant remarks and acts. Thus, other than instigating and overbearing, doing good deeds can merely be used to refine oneself. In short, we have to create an environment which has unified will and delighted heart, harmony and order with open dialogues, personality and talent, characteristics which maintain common characters of Life of Chanyuan and keep personality at the same time, and an environment which makes each Chanyuan Celestial feel ease, happy, free, joyful. 在政府的管理范围内活动. In the scope of government management. Xiefeng, July 10, 2008. One idea of the Life of Chanyuan values is, the management system of human society is Life of Chanyuan plus public governments. This idea means that Life of Chanyuan has created its own system in the ideology realms such as belief and so on. The main connotation of this system is to obey the instructions of Jesus Christ, Buddha Sakyamuni, Prophet Muhammad, celestial being Lao Tzu, and all the sages in the history around the world, and work hard to cultivate oneself to revere to the greatest creator, life and nature, to follow the way of the greatest creator. In human life, we should pursue delight, joy, freedom, and happiness. As a life, we should work hard to extend our life to heaven, the 1,000-year world, 10,000-year world, Elysium world, and celestial islands continent. As an individual, we should trudge and clamber towards the highest ideal of human life and life. As a group, we should work hard to initiate the Life of Chanyuan era. No one pockets anything found on the road, doors unnecessarily to be shut in the evening for no thieves drop in, person of virtue won't be abandoned away from government, honesty prevails throughout the world, peace reigns over the world, everyone is happy in the picturesque scenery, and everything is in harmony. The other side of this value is that all the activities of mankind should be brought into the scope of government management, whether the production management, or forming an association, or taking part in some activities. Everything should be lawful and comply with the government management. We need to obey all the laws and regulations constituted by the government. We should not handle affairs behind the back of government, but need to respond all the calls from the government. All the production activities should apply for the record of the corresponding government agencies and carry out under the scope of government management. All the productiveness activities should not only acquire the permission of the government, but truthfully report the earning performance to the government and pay the corresponding tax. In one word, everything except the spiritual and psychological activities should be brought into the scope of government management. Only in this way, the whole society can be in order, stable, and harmonious. An orderly, harmonious, and stable society will benefit everyone except careerists. Everyone is first a citizen, then a person of self-refining or self-improving. As a citizen, accepting the government management is one's obligatory responsibility and duty. We should not be a self-refining or self-improving people who surpasses the government or an anarchist, and we should not challenge the authority of government or causally disarrange or deprive the administrative management function of government. In the same way, as a citizen, we should not optionally humiliate or assault the government leader. On the other hand, we should respect them just like respect ourselves and our own parents. No matter what the excuses are, any speeches or actions that intend to interfere, surpass, and displace the government are wrong, barbaric, and unsatisfactory. Such actions are doomed to be defeated and bankrupted. No matter the human society enters into any civilization level, the government is necessary, and any political parties, religions, religious groups, or self-improvement groups cannot displace the government. Any political parties, religions, religious groups, or self-improvement groups who want to displace or surpass the government is to go against the benefit of society and the whole people. Culture makes the people, and the people make the government. The foundation of the government is the people, and the duty of the government is to serve for the people. The first necessary thing for an honesty and high-efficiency government is the cultured and civilized people. And the first necessary thing to cultivate the cultured and civilized people is to build up a healthful and civilized culture. Life Chanyuan is working hard to build up such a healthy and civilized culture. The Chanyuan Celestial of Life Chanyuan is first a citizen who observes law and discipline and safeguards the government functions. And we should never imagine that Life Chanyuan will become some kind of organization to surpass the government. All activities of Life Chanyuan have to be brought into the scope of government management. And every Chanyuan Celestial first has to work in the scope of government management. The activity of any Chanyuan Celestial going against the government in name of Life Chanyuan is absolutely misconduct, and the concept of Life Chanyuan will absolutely fight against them. All the values of Life Chanyuan are publicized in the website of Life Chanyuan, and there are no other values except all these. All the activities in Life Chanyuan are overt. Otherwise, they do not belong to Life Chanyuan. Life Chanyuan does not assume any responsibility and obligation for any Chanyuan Celestial speech and action, and Life Chanyuan will never arrange or impose anything on any Chanyuan Celestial, and everything is out of voluntary. So Life Chanyuan will not take any responsibility or obligation for any Chanyuan Celestial. Everything in Life Chanyuan has to withstand the monitor of government, the supervision of people, and the public comment. The values of Life Chanyuan have to meet the doctrine of the greatest creator, the discipline of society. All the values should not only be reasonable but considerable, not only respond to the former theory but consider the future development, not only is full of celestial beings feeling but also have humanity, not only consider the individual achievement but the promotion of the whole mankind, not only take into account the actual benefit of every country, political party, religion, and family, but also make all the countries, political parties, religions, and families disintegrate finally. In one word, to safeguard the government and to bring everything into the scope of the government management is the eternal value of Life Chanyuan. 召集天下贤士，开创生命禅院时代. Join your talent and wisdom into the creating of Life Chanyuan era. Xiefeng, February 7th, 2006. There is a saying in ancient time. The wise bird chooses its branch, and the wise official chooses the great sovereign. Now we say, the wise man chooses right road, and the wise bird chooses auspicious place. The human civilization should step into a higher level. 5,000 years of human history is history of tears and blood, and the ignorant era should come to an end. Tracing back, we find that the roots of these disasters are religions, states, political parties, and families. And the fundamental root lies in the chaos of ideology. Everyone thinks what he found is the only truth. If we cannot end such situation, human can never cast off such vicious circle. The era when we appraise everything by man rather than by law should be ended. Now we should advocate, law is above everything. Law refers to all charters passed by UN, all constitutions promulgated by countries. However, the most fundamental law is the law of Tao, the principle of Tao, which surpasses all constitutions. It works as the law of the universe and the law of life. And we should take this principle as the standard of our words and deeds. What are rules of Tao and life? The words and wisdoms of Jesus, Sakyamuni, Muhammad, and Lao Tzu have expounded some rules of Tao, but it still needs to be perfected. This requires a large group of talents and wisdoms to accomplish this mission, to inherit and carry forward the wisdoms of Jesus, Sakyamuni, Muhammad, and Lao Tzu. The Bible, the Quran, Tao Te Ching, and the Buddhist scriptures are crystallization of human wisdom, but none of these classics can contain all the connotation of the law of Tao. Only when we digest all these classics and integrate them with the achievement of modern science and the wisdom of present sages, can we approach to truth and find the relatively right path. The talents and wisdoms refer to the people who have surpassed the instinct, desire, emotion, and rational thinking. They are the mainstay of the civilized society, the guardian of the morality, the vindicator of the peaceful order, the defender of truth, the disseminator of wisdom, pioneer of the civilization, and the inaugurator of the new era. They have characters of sensibility, modesty, plainness, peace, obliging, simplicity, diligence, and tenaciousness. The features of the Life-Genuine era are the religions, states, political parties, and families will disappear. Regardless of nationalities or races, the whole world will become big family and live in harmony. There will be only one global government. The systems of management and coordination will be Life-Genuine plus worldly government. All people will revere to the greatest creator, life and nature. All the people will join into one family and one government. Person of virtue won't be abandoned away from government. Honesty prevails throughout the world and no one pockets anything found on the road. Doors unnecessarily to be shut in the evening for no thieves drop in. 100 flowers blossom and 100 schools of thought contend. Everyone shows his talents. People get together for friendship instead of constructing clique to seek private interest. People, gods, Buddha, nature, and people, they coexist harmoniously and bring out the best for each other. The old era must be a history. The old regime must be disintegrated. The old object must die out. The old values must be desalted. All of these are objective laws which are certain to happen and will not depend on our subjective consciousness. So the only thing we can do is to adapt to this law. Any attempts of obstructing the law will be in vain and doomed to fail. Perhaps someone will say the Life-Genuine era is very good and very attractive. But this is totally working on one's imagination, impractical, and equal to daydream. Yes, from the conventional thinking, this is equal to milk the bull or make vain efforts. However, if we have learnt the abnormal thinking, we would find this era is in the near future, because this is the operation of Tao and an irreversible law. When Noah built Ark on the mountaintop, no one thought that the downpour would drop from the sky. When Titanic sailed on the Atlantic, no one thought that it would crash on the iceberg. When the World Trade Center stood tall and upright, no one thought it would collapse in an instant. When people from South Asia countries enjoyed relaxation on the beach, no one thought the tsunami would make a surprise attack. Many incidents happened suddenly and beyond our expectation. Life-Genuine summoned the talents and wisdoms around the world. It does not mean that you get into Life-Genuine today and carry out the Life-Genuine era tomorrow, but is to change your consciousness and to improve your thinking frequency and strive to resonate with the frequency of the universe law. This is the only way to prevent you from getting hurt and to prevent your thinking from falling into disorder get collapsed. All the talents and wisdoms that are willing to get into Life-Genuine should not waste your precious times on imaginary things, but hurry up to self-improve and self-refine. Even you have owned the whole material world, it is useless. What you should do is to obey indoctrinations of Jesus to accumulate wealth in the heaven, to obey instructions of the Buddha, unconditional giving. You should get into the Life-Genuine to absorb new knowledge, develop new thinking, exchange gnosis, knowledge and experience with other talents and wisdoms around the world, and then to build up Life-Genuine together. In this way, you are working for the Life-Genuine era. You should never expect to be the lucky dog, never expect enjoy free lunch every day. If you want to gain, you have to pay. If you want to get into the Life-Genuine era, you have to strive for it by yourself. Otherwise, you are not qualified for the Life-Genuine era. Don't hate your enemies. Someday they will get their deserved punishment. Don't retaliate, Tao will work for you. You should do nothing but dedicate your wisdom, talent, and your love from your heart. Let's work together to build up Life-Genuine and to open up the Life-Genuine era. Talents and wisdoms. Such a chance must not be missed, an opportunity knocks only once. You are lucky to live in this era, and it is your destiny with 1,000 years of self-improvement to get into Life-Genuine and to build it. I hope you can get into Life-Genuine and enjoy the sincere care and love of the brothers, sisters, relatives, and lovers in this big family. You can listen the songs of love and watch the dance of love in Life-Genuine, the ocean of love. The beautiful life is yours in the near future. New life and new era are calling for you, and Life-Genuine is inviting you. Wish you can open a new page for your own life. 这里劳动者最受尊敬. Laborers are most respected here. Xiefeng. November 22nd, 2007. The most respected people in Life-Genuine are not the exceptional functions, the wise men, the greatest talker, self-centered people, learners of the classic doctrines and moralizers, etc., but the laborers. The builders of Life Genuine are the laborers, which include the people managing the website and homeland, the people writing for Chanyuan on the basis of Life Genuine values, the people in the other websites reprinting the corpus of Life Genuine, the people machining gems, the people follow the plaster on the internet to praise and encourage Chanyuan celestials, the people who prefer searching the articles, music and pictures according to truth, goodness, beauty, love, honesty, credit, and then reprinting them on this website, the people who kindly and sincerely discuss, exchange, experience about life, time, space, and human life. The laborers may not write articles filled with wits and wisdoms, may be short of the debated talents, may be too stupid to show one's intelligence, may be with ordinary performance, may unable to explain Buddhist doctrine or Tao, may be unable to recite or apply the paragraphs or sentences in the classics. But their souls are the most beautiful, and their conducts can prove that they have obeyed the instructions of the Jesus, Buddha, Lao Tzu, and the sages. It is impossible to amaze the people with a single brilliant feat here. Here one needs to work and make a tribute silently in a down-to-earth way, and the merits of Life Genuine are the examples for us to learn. If one wants to be respected by others, one has to become an arduous laborer. 这里有一个温馨家园. This is a warm homeland. Xiefeng, January 21st, 2009. This is a warm homeland, and this is a warm homeland consists of the Chanyuan Celestials and Life Genuine. This is a pioneering work, where the best wish since the existence of human locates. Human beings cannot walk out of confusion, misfortune, hunger, war, unrest, and hardship until this warm homeland continually ferment, grow in strength and ferment the earth into such a warm homeland. All the citizens of this warm homeland are selfless contributors who give up their own enjoyment and contribute all their time and energy to the construction of this homeland. They give up their own opinions, infuse their own personality into this common cause, and resonate completely with Life Genuine in the same frequency. They give up their own private interest and try their best to donate or invest their personal wealth to this warm homeland. They overcome various difficulties and enter into this homeland every day to contribute their wisdom and talents. They warm the hearts of their brothers, sisters, relatives, and lovers with their most ardent words. Just a few days ago, they donate more than 100,000 renminbi in less than a day to solve the temporary plight faced by Chanyuan Celestials in the homeland. Selfless contribution is one of the greatest and loftiest quality of human being. Jesus Christ is a selfless contributor. The Buddha Sakyamuni is a selfless contributor. Avalokitesvara is a selfless contributor. All the men who devote themselves to the peace, happiness, and tranquility of people are selfless contributors. Those men who, armed with the religious feelings, work selflessly and regardless of their personal gain and loss, are selfless contributors. All the Chanyuan Celestials in Life Genuine is selfless contributor. This warm homeland is established according to the 800 new life values, the wish of the greatest creator, the guidance of Jesus Christ, the instruction of Buddha Sakyamuni, according to the wish and spirit of Prophet Mohammedan, the wisdom of the celestial being Lao Tzu, the ideals of all the sages in the human history, the supplication of the people who are kindness, industriousness, honesty, credit. This homeland is carried out strictly according to the connotation of the Tao of the greatest creator, strictly according to the 800 new life values, whether on the constructing value or the constructing practice. The core of the warm homeland consists of homeland feats and beginners. All the core members are not the leaders out matching high over others but servants. All the core members have to live a simple life, own nothing at all with no personal property, with no personal bank account, nothing but the homeland. Taking Dayform Celestial L as an example. His wealth amounts to 1 million RMB, such as house, property, car, furniture, including kitchen utensils, all belong to the homeland. He owns nothing at all. His eating, clothing, housing, and transportation are carried out on the simplest level. When he is alive, he is a person in the homeland. When he dies, he will be a celestial being in the homeland. Once you enter into this warm homeland, the homeland will take charge of the eating, clothing, housing, transportation, birth, death, illness, and old age of every citizen. An individual needs not worry about such things, and each citizen will not have any private interest, family, and personal property. In the homeland, everything is distributed based on one's needs. In this warm homeland, the people with the more contribution will receive more esteem, so the laborers are the most respected persons. The people who only want to get benefit and are unwilling to pay out will be disdained and rejected in this homeland. The idlers, lazybones, and parasite cannot exist in this homeland. The homeland does not welcome the people who idle about every day and prefer stealing the show, gabbling, and making gestures. This warm homeland is not the place for idlers, but the paradise of the people who are honest, industrious, modest, and trustful. This warm homeland fully respects human nature, human dignity, freedom, and privacy. Nothing is compulsory but voluntary, and everyone works and lives according to the 800 new life values. Among different members, no one is commanding or interfered. No one is allowed to criticize or cavil other members, but just does well on one's own duty. If one wants to educate others, he should use it to educate himself. Do not force others to do the things you yourself can't do. The love life in this warm homeland are free. It is not allowed to bring the moralization and religious doctrine of the worldly society into the homeland. No one is allowed to interfere others' love life. It is not allowed to make irresponsible remarks and talk of people behind their backs. It is not allowed the occurrences of such affairs as compelling, usurping, coercing, and scathing. The love life of this homeland is carried out according to the mode of the heaven, the thousand-year world, and the celestial being, which works as the replica of the heaven and the thousand-year world life. The people living in such way aim at transiting up into the thousand-year world. The citizens of the homeland are meek sheep at home but fierce tigers and leopards to the outside world. They will afford the love guidance to the people who cherish this homeland, and they will give strict punishment on the people who intend to destroy this homeland. They will inherit the Muslim spirit created by Prophet Muhammad. We will keep the homeland regardless of the hardships and dangerous. We will not stir up trouble, nor will we fear it. We will be brave and fearless of difficulties or death. For the people who favored the homeland, we will offer our gratitude and return for goodness. For the people who do something bad to the homeland, we will give them double punishment no matter where they are. This warm homeland will protect each Chanyuan Celestials who has paid painstaking effort and sweats to the homeland. The homeland will help each one to overcome the difficulties occurred unconditionally. The homeland will try its best to satisfy any reasonable requirement raised by him or her. Certainly, this is only available to Chanyuan Celestials himself or herself and not to his or her parents, children, other friends, or relatives. At this point, we will strictly obey the instruction of Jesus Christ. This homeland offers exceptional benefaction to the Chanyuan feats. As long as he or she is one of the feats, the homeland will take care of his or her eating, clothing, housing, transportation, birth, death, illness, and old age from now. Certainly, above conditions only work when the feats need such things. Otherwise, for example, the feats is capable of solving one's own eating, clothing, housing, and transportation. The homeland will not provide him or her a penny, and the homeland does not encourage greediness. If you can be self-sufficient, then do not be greedy over others' bowl. However, we have to guarantee that the feats will not worry about the eating, clothing, housing, transportation, birth, death, illness, and old age. We advocate that we should not easily ask for requiting but just sacrifice, because we are the people who self-refine ourselves for merits and virtues, because we are the people who will finally break away from the universal gravitation of life to Celestial Islands continent, because we are the people who will initiate the life of Chanyuan for human with heart and soul, because we are the model of being an upright persons for all human beings, and because we are the examples of all people, and all the nice qualities should be first reflected from us. However, we do not assert or encourage each Chanyuan Celestials to swallow a camel. When you are in trouble or great pain, you are bound to speak out and offer a chance for everyone to share it with you. We oppose a person who furtively enjoys the happiness, and we oppose a person who endures the suffering alone more. The management mode of this warm homeland is in holographic order with no written law, rule, provisions, measures, restraint, and rights, just like nature with invisible law, rule, section, measures, restraint, and rights. However, everywhere in nature reflects the rigor and strictness of law, rule, section, gauge, restraint, and rights. If one behaves according to the logos, one can soar freely across the sky like a heavenly horse. Otherwise, one will meet thistles and thorns everywhere and unable to advance even one step. This warm homeland possesses the huge power and infinite potential. All the people who love peace and pursue joy, delight, freedom, and happiness will be certain to converge in this homeland from all directions until the whole earth becomes the paradise like the thousand-year world. The citizens of the warm homeland. We are the creators, pioneers, and practitioners of the new era, new values, new life, and new mode. The hope of all human beings is entrusted to us. If we fall down, human beings will not have any hopes but desperation, and our individual cannot escape from the domain of the universe, the constraint of the 5 elements and the 36 passes of 8 diagrams array. All men will die. We would rather open a new road to survive in the deadly situation. In other words, we have known our path, and we have understood the future clearly, and we will need only to fight the wind and storm, follow and ascending the path of heaven. There is no any game so interesting as the game of human life. One should not be coward, and it is no use of retreating. It is not safe to return to the old shell, and the old city cannot be guarded any longer. The only way is to work hard to reach the other side because the bitterness is endless. An old friend with magical power has told us, when all countries still exist, the greatest creator will establish another immortal homeland, which does not belong to any